Welcome to Kult America. On today's episode, we have traveled to the scenic and serene town of Zakopane to taste test some of Poland's most bizarre food. Sometimes Polish people can be a little bit negative and they complain about Zakopane being too filled with tourists. It's true, but if you know where to look and when to come, you can experience this town basically for itself. And you'll still find that the artistic soul it was founded upon lingers throughout. But no time for that today. We're looking for food. Poland is filled with delicious food. We all know and love pierogi or kielbasa, but you'd also be surprised to find out that some of the items on the menu here almost seem a little bit scary. This was definitely the case when I first saw gut soup, or should I say when I smelled it. Honestly, I thought you'd have to be insane to eat something like that. So looks might be deceiving. First time I saw this, I almost puked. The texture is very bizarre, but I can promise you, it is one of the most spicy, delicious dishes possible in Poland. To the point that I'd be willing to sit in a restaurant outside where there's construction going on all around me. This is simply amazing. Seeing as we are in the mountains today, I'm also obliged to point out a few local classics. There's Grzaniec, which is mulled wine, a warm alcohol which is said to make you feel cozy on long, cold nights spent watching over sheep. However, what I'm interested in is the cheese produced using the milk from those sheep, osypek. Dzień dobry. Chciałbym kupić osypek z żurowiną.
Jeden?
Jedno wystarczy. Dziękuję bardzo. So here we have a Zakopane classic, osypek. Now I'm not really sure how local or authentic this particular one is, but it was bought on the main tourist road, so you have to expect some shenanigans here and there. I'm sure I'll like it. Yeah, you put a little bit of the cranberry jelly on there. It's warm, it's toasty, color looks beautiful. The spirit's good here on Kaprówka, so it's a good way to feel the city. It's really quite good. To be fair, I actually prefer this cheese fresh. It doesn't need to be grilled. And when it's fresh, it has a very specific squeaky texture to it when you eat it, unlike anything else I've ever tried. But when you jazz it up with the cranberry and you warm it on the grill, that's also pretty cool. This hard-edged, heavily smoked cheese is made from salted sheep milk and is very unusual, but tasty. They say that true osypek should be made by a batza, a shepherd, and it's best served with cranberry jam. I've also heard that its specific flavor might have something to do with the fact that the preparation of this cheese is, let's say, organic. That's going to have to be in the next episode. That's marinated cheese. There's also lard, but I don't mess with this. That'll get you sick. All right, we had to have take two of the osypek because what I bought on Kaprówka wasn't satisfactory. It wasn't bad. This looks much, much, much better. You see, you can feel the texture of it. You can even smell it's much more potent. This is much closer to what you want when you buy osypek. Let's see if it passes the taste test. Much better. Bardzo fajnie. Dużo lepsze. Dziękuję bardzo. You can make fun of me for being a tourist. What can I say? I love it. I love Zakopane. I love all the tourist gadgets. I love the Highlander folklore. And I certainly love weird Polish food. Look at that, that's beautiful. We've got kulki, prawdiki, rydze, all local, all very, very tasty. So we have an unexpected delicacy to try with our rydze. I'm really starting to feel concerned that I'm gonna get a stomachache because you're not supposed to mix all this together, but I couldn't pass that up. I propose we find somewhere special to have this very bizarre food. All right, at this point my stomach is feeling the mixture of food, so I hope this isn't going to put me over the edge. Both of these items, well this one for sure, are rather hard to digest. We will start with rydze, a beautiful mushroom, very popular, and it is recommended that you eat a little bit at first to check your individual tolerance. And I found this to be a very strange thing. Now these are Gild mushrooms, marinated in vinegar. You can see they have a gorgeous pink tone to them. Rydze are identifiable by the fact that the stem is hollow, so that can help you to, not get poisoned by picking the wrong mushroom. And it's also a bit of an acquired taste. Not everyone likes these. You can fry them, serve them in different fashions, but marinated will really reveal this mushroom in its most natural texture, in my opinion. Phenomenal. These are most certainly the best, most delicate marinated rydze that I have ever tried. And I would eat another half of this jar, but you don't want to know about the aftermath. Here we have what you might describe as the wild card, because I have no idea what it's going to do or how it's going to taste. This is new to me. Marinated cheese. Okay. It smells very neutral, actually. I thought that it was going to reek of vinegar, but it doesn't. Color's very unusual, but kind of intriguing orange. Looks like there's pepper there. This is said to be spicy. Okay, when you extract the cheese from the jar, it seems that it is not smoked, so this is the more neutral flavor of osypek, which my children like. I prefer smoked osypek. And what else can we say? We have to try it to form an opinion. So this is pretty straightforward. Basically, take any osypek that you try down there, you buy off the street, cover it in slime, and voila! Back in 2001, I was reading a book about a woman who survived the Holocaust, and I'll never forget a chapter where she discovered a jar of pickled fish and described how delicious it was. Now, in my American mind, I thought that she was eating these so-called pickled fish because she was starving. I also assumed that the fish were bad. Little did I realize that this dish, known as śledź, is also a common thing. And even though I do enjoy it today, I still think it is a very strange thing to eat. As the years passed, I've learned to love this dish. And today, it's accompanied by another delicacy that I learned to love in Poland, horseradish. Interesting fact, when you have horseradish produced by the fresh root. It's actually very potent, but also completely tasty. So I'll add a little bit of that. And yeah, let's try this Highlanders Herring. So one of the things you'll notice is that there are bones in there. There is the skin of the fish. It's kind of shiny. That's off-putting to a lot of people. My mother would not eat that, for example. And yeah, I didn't like the idea in the beginning either, but now I'm delighted to do so. So, very much like a pickle. It's tangy, it's sour. It's almost a little bit off-putting. You know, there's a strong aftertaste of vinegar. But in the right quantities, this is the perfect appetizer to get your Highlander meal started. I should probably mention that mixing all of Poland's weirdest food together, especially in high quantity, is basically a guaranteed stomachache. One time, I ate an entire jar of marinated mushrooms, for example, and experienced the type of aftermath I'd rather not describe in a food video. Anyhow, let's wrap this one up on a high note of what many consider to be Poland's strangest dish, blood sausage. So what is the story with blood sausage, or kaszanka, as they call it? Well, it is as it sounds. These are groats soaked in pig's blood. That might sound a little bit gross, it is a little bit strange, but when you grill it up, plate it beautifully, magic happens. Here's what I can tell you about blood sausage. You want to make sure that you get this from a good, trusted, reliable source. And once you do, you'll be surprised at how you can get over the bitterness thanks to the consistency of the groats, the crispiness of the lining that holds the groats together, and of course the sides that it's served with. I've come to like this, but it is a dish that I am still learning to eat. I will tell you, however, that it's a million times more tasty than czarnina, or duck blood soup, which we might show in another episode. Many people would suggest that Polish food is bland, and whereas at a surface level, I'd be inclined to agree with them. It becomes obvious when you experiment just a little bit that the country is filled with surprises. And I believe this is emblematic of Polish culture in general. Not that telling at a first glance, but when you spend some time with it, you'll find that it is filled with wonder.